Yo, 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 welcome to the Committee Podcast or TCP. I am Love Killer Trey, kicking it with the homie Marcus Sniffles. So today we do have a couple of, actually a few hot takes that we'd like to get off just for this week. I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
This is Marcus Sniffles from Twitter.
All right, man. So to start it off, I don't know where this came from, but somewhere people they were kind of saying American Gangster, the soundtrack, which some people think is the greatest soundtrack of all time, versus the Black Panther soundtrack, which is another all-time great. So I guess I'll start out with you, Marcus. What's your take on that as far as being versus one another?
Well, I originally saw this on South Breeze's timeline. He posted like a poll saying which one was better, the Black Panther soundtrack versus the American Gangster soundtrack. And as of right now, the Black Panther soundtrack was winning. And that just shows me that there's just a lot of young people that haven't seen American Gangster or
Oh my
listened to that album. Like, I mean, it came out, when did this come out? 2007?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It came out late 2007. Black Panther, came out last year. It was, one of the hottest movies. The album was produced by the best rapper currently. So I mean, I get it, but that just showed me that okay, this was more of a popularity contest and a little bit of recency bias, and not what is actually great music, or even a great soundtrack. Because I mean, there's some albums that are great, but it doesn't really encompass what the movie is about. And for me, I mean, American Gangster does all of that for me. Like, I can listen to American Gangster and get the idea of what the movie is trying to portray in the ups and downs and the storyline without having to watch the actual movie. And I don't feel like you can do that with Black Panther. And I think the Black Panther soundtrack is also great, but as a soundtrack, I think it's lacking.
Mm. My thoughts on it. I actually think American Gangster is a top three Jay-Z album easily.
Easily, for sure.
One of the, like I said earlier, one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. You are 100% correct. That movie pretty much defines all. I mean, that soundtrack defines what's going on with the movie. Like, you can listen to that soundtrack and kind of know bit by bit what the movie was about. With Black Panther, the first thing I wonder, did people, because I know younger people, and there's a bit of an issue with reading comprehension sometimes. So, and no offense to the young people, I have a little brother, and sometimes, like, you'll tell him exactly what it is, and he'll still have to ask questions. It's like he won't get it. So, shout out to you, Nick. So, I would wonder if they were asking what was the better, if they were thinking what was the better movie instead of what was the better soundtrack. Because to me, although Black Panther, it did have some heat on it. I mean, it's not too many songs that are memorable. To me, the most memorable thing was the la di da di da, slap on my nub, and all that.
Exactly.
That was
Classic bars.
it was that's like the one thing that endears is that one bar by Future. Overall, I mean, I think it's good, but I just can't put it up there with American Gangster. The only soundtrack that I can even say would possibly be better than American Gangster is maybe the Soul Food soundtrack, which was really good. Um, Beyond that, I mean, American Gangster, it's a classic album in my opinion. Like I said, it to me, no cap, as they say, it's Jay-Z's best work in my opinion. Like, I can run that CD straight through, moving and grooving. I love that CD. Black Panther has a lot of tracks on it that are skippable. Had some stuff that's pretty cool, but
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just
I mean, I'm looking at the track list right now, and like there's songs that are good, but if you look at it in the sense of like, all right, this is from a movie, where do you put this song in context with the movie? And like the song "I Am" by Georgia Smith, and I love Georgia Smith. Like this is where I pretty much like I don't want to say I discovered her because I heard her on other things
Hmm.
previously. But after I heard this song, I was like, all right, well, let me go check her out because I've heard her on some other things and I really like her. So let me go check her out. So this isn't a diss to her at all. But I hear that song and I'm like, okay, where does this fit in the movie? Where would this have played at? And I don't really think it fits anywhere. Like, Bloody Waters is a really good song. I don't really think it fits. Big Shot, like Pray for Me, like
Okay,
all
let me
all
ask
the
you this:
stars, like all these songs are good, but they don't fit the movie. I don't
if it
think.
was a standalone album and this was just a Kendrick Lamar album, where would you rate this in contrast to the some of his other work? Like, do you think this is one of the
Ooh,
best Kendrick Lamar albums? Because I made that statement about the Jay Z
nah.
thing. I mean, this American Gangster and Blueprint, they're real close. For me, Black Panther as an album of Kendrick Lamar's is probably in the last place, honestly. I mean, I know Section 80 is not considered an actual album, but it would be even below that. It'd be far down the line, in my opinion.
Well, I think the main difference between like the Black Panther soundtrack and the American Gangster soundtrack is the Black Panther soundtrack is more of a collaborative effort. Like Kendrick Lamar he's on every song, or he at least has like vocals on there.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know if you could really consider it like a Kendrick Lamar album. If you were to consider it an actual Kendrick Lamar album, you'd have to look at it in the way that like Jay Z did his Rock Lock Familia album, where it was like it's technically his album, but it's mostly to showcase his other label mates or signees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're comparing the Black Panther soundtrack to like you said, like Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, and Damn, like I'm putting it at last place, honestly. Like it's not. It might be up there, maybe with Section 80, but the fact that I'm not sure kind of makes me put Section 80 ahead of it. Although if I had to guess, I think King's Dead is probably it might be better than any song, or it might be better than the best song on Section 80. Well, actually, I don't know. Rigor Mortis is on there.
Mm.
He kind of ripped that. Yeah, and that's the thing. Black Panther, the best soundtrack, the best song on that soundtrack, I think, is King's Dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I mean, King's Dead is a dope song, and that actually it fits the storyline, but it doesn't really fit the feel of the movie. But I mean, I mean, I don't want this to come off as like I hate the Black Panther soundtrack because there's actually like outside of Georgia Smith, like SOB and RBE, I went through their discography. I'm a fan of theirs now, so there's a lot of artists that I discovered that I didn't really know of
Oh yeah.
that I'm now fans of because of this album. So I'm not gonna say this album didn't do good things and didn't introduce me to new artists and didn't put other people on, but when we're talking about like not even like we talk about great albums and then great soundtracks. Like if you listen to the song, like every song on here tells the story of that movie. And like I'm looking at the track list right now, like I mean, it's Pray, American Dream, and Hello Blue. Like Pray is pretty much him starting off where it's like, yo, you're down, you're just trying to you're hoping for a way out. You're looking for a way out. You're almost, I don't want to say you're begging, but you're praying. I mean, that's how most movies like that start out. You started at the bottom. American Dreaming. He's dreaming of like, I want to be better than where I'm at. I want to do better. I want to get to the top and do all these things. Hello Brooklyn, No Hook, Rock Boys, Winners.
Ooh.
That's like sweet. That's me making it. That's like I'm rising to the top. I'm getting to where I want to be at. Sweet, I know, party life. That's you enjoying what you've accomplished. That's
Man, you're taking me
reaping
back.
the benefits. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a great album. Like, and then you get to like ignorant shit and say hello. That's the part of the movie where it's like now you're at the top. Now people are coming after you, just like in
Oh
the
yeah.
movie. When he got to the top, people are starting to take shots at him. People are starting to use his own product against not against him, but they're using his product and changing the names and all this stuff. And now you're going back at people trying to defend your name and defend your honor and stuff like that. Where am I at? Success fallen. Like success is like, all right, you've gotten success, but at what cost? Fallen, the same type of thing where it's like now you're down at the bottom and everything that you thought that you wanted, everybody that you thought that was down for you, they're now gone. Like there's just nobody left and it's just you. Just like in the movie where at the end of the movie, Frank Lucas walks out of prison. He finally gets out. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have the fancy clothes. He doesn't have the empire. He's not a kingpin anymore. He's got nothing, and that's what Fallen is. And I mean, and then the feel of it, how it still has that same old school feel.
Yep.
Because Black Panther doesn't have it. It has it on a few songs where it has like that African, Caribbean type vibes to it.
Mm-hmm.
The American Gangster soundtrack is like all mostly samples, old school
Oh
music,
yeah.
like that soul
Music from that time.
70s, 80s, yeah, from that time, and they use that and they incorporated that into this album. So it's like for people to go out and put freaking Black Panther above American Gangster is. I would just encourage people to listen to that album. Honestly, like just go back. You don't even have to watch the movie. If you listen to the album, it tells the entire story. Black Panther doesn't do that.
Nah, it doesn't at all. Okay, so let me ask you this. So if King's Dead is the top song from Black Panther, what would be your top song from American Gangster? And then is King's Dead better than that best song?
Oh man. Best song from American Gangster.
Just in your opinion.
Um I think Party Life. I think Party Life really embodies what they were trying to convey from that album and the movie. I'd go with Party Life. And he's not really rapping. Like I think the raps on King's Dead are very strong from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's a better song than Party Life.
Yeah, my best song on American Gangster it's between Party Life and Say Hello. Say Hello is my jam. Like I'll never go a
That shit
year
goes.
without playing that song. When Jenna 6 don't exist, tell them that's when I stop saying bitch. Love that part.
Yes.
Love the whole song actually. And I just think that it just washes anything on Black Panther. It's the whole album is just great. Like to me, with American Gangster, like I said, for Jay-Z to be an all-time great rapper, probably easily top 3 all time, maybe even the one. And I think this is possibly his best work overall. But yeah. Any additional thoughts on the? It seems like we're kind of on one accord with the American Gangster and Black Panther. Any additional thoughts on that one?
Nah, I mean, I would just encourage people to go back and listen to American Gangster. Like like you said, it's probably one of Jay-Z's best 3 albums. Like when we're talking like rapping, production, storytelling is a really big one for this album. Like I feel like this and like Reasonable Doubt are Jay-Z's best like storytelling
Oh yeah.
albums. So if you haven't listened to American Gangster, go and listen to that. I'm gonna re-listen to it probably today or tomorrow because it's a great album.
Heck yeah, it is. Now going from great albums to pure trash. I don't know if they've even released the young lady's name, but I know a couple of photos have been released and the girl is underage. But in this week in times, or this past week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, this girl, a black girl at that, which is just, damn it. You know, we're trying to do a lot to change things and change the narrative. And this nigga goes into some what looks like a Walmart, opens up a can of the finest butter pecan or some weird Rocky Road flavor that us niggas like, and proceeds to stick her tongue in the ice cream. What the fuck are you doing, ma'am? Like I said, just ruining everything for us as black people. Set us back another 2 years. Now you have cops guarding stuff, people making memes, it's funny, stuff like that. She's actually facing, she's been found. Twitter did its thing. She's facing a lot of time, 20 years, $10,000 fine. I'm just, when I seen this video initially, I was so floored. Like, first, I was like, wait a minute now. Why don't they put like plastic over the ice creams? And I never really thought about that. I think it, and listeners, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Mayfield or either Tillamook, I think they do have like a plastic cover over theirs. But I'm like, damn, I eat Bluebell. What if somebody stuck their finger in their butt and spread it across my ice cream, or licked my ice cream, or spit in it, or put their nose in it, or just anything? I just was like, man, this is disgusting. This is absolutely atrocious.
It's
Marcus, what are
disgusting.
your thoughts on that?
It's so disgusting, man. It's so disgusting. Like, why? Why do this? And it's like, have you not been into a Walmart before? Like, they have cameras everywhere. It's not like you went to a mom and pop shop where they got the one camera watching the door. Like these big supermarket chains, they got cameras everywhere, waiting on y'all to do some dumb shit.
Everywhere.
And I hope
Um,
the person that recorded this is getting in trouble too, because I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of these new niggas, man. I'm sick.
there's a song out by one or two or three of the Migos. The you do anything for clout. They do anything for clout.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like this applies to this scenario. Like, and then we go from that. And I understand she's facing the charges, and which we'll get into in just a second. I'm gonna circle back around and talk about the stiffness of these charges. But then you got the I don't know if it's a man or a woman. So I'm sorry, LBGTQTIAA community, but you have something goes in another Walmart or CVS and drinks out of a bottle of Listerine and spits it right back in there with the
That shit
caption,
made me sick.
"You bitches
Oh,
could never." And I'm just
God
like,
damn it.
bro, what is like? I can't get it out of my head. Like, that is so nasty. Like, why would you do that and not buy it and put it right back on the shelf? It just,
I hate all of them. I hate them all.
I do too. And my thing is, they talk so much about pressing charges on her. They need to press charges on him. And then there's another person that did the ice cream licking thing too. And it's like, just get them all, get them out of these streets. Um, the one thing about it, I mean, when you do stuff like chasing clout, man, it's only just for a small amount of time. Then you'll turn right back into your regular ass lives. Why do this stuff? Now this girl is facing 20 years, which, I mean, when I found out she was underage, of course I would hope that she doesn't get 20 years. I do think that it does need to be a stiff fine and a hell of a lot of community service. And maybe some jail time, like 30 days or something like that.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she got jail time, because I mean that stuff is pretty serious. Like we don't know what she has. You know what I'm
Bad
saying?
mono,
And
yeah.
it yeah, I mean it's also one of those things where it's like, are you punishing the person for what they did, or are you going to punish them for what could have happened? Because I mean, what she did was she licked that ice cream, and she claims she bought that ice cream. If that's the right, it's sick that I have to even you know remember, is this the right? Because so many people are doing this, but I'm pretty sure it was her who said that she licked that ice cream and then paid for it. So if we're gonna punish her for that, that's not really a crime. But like I said, we don't know if she actually bought that ice cream. But if she licked that ice cream and put it back, the crime that like the things that could occur.
Oh yeah.
You know, we don't know what she has. We don't know what kind of disease, like what's you know, contagious. What she like, where she's been. Did she just come out from out of the country? Was she in the Dominican Republic? Like all these things could happen. There's a lot of things that could, you know, go bad as a result of her doing that. So are we going to punish her for that? And I mean, it's a lot, and it's just I'm kind of with you on this. Like I wish, I hope there's a steep enough penalty or punishment that everybody else is like, you know what, ain't worth it. I don't
Mhm.
want to do this no more.
And it should be. I mean, I just was floored. Like when I first seen it, I was like, really? This is the new flex, as they say. This is what we're doing. We're gonna lick ice cream and put it back on the shelf. And I know somebody had made like a gift slash video or something like that about, oh well, you know, that's why your mother always taught you to always get the one in the back. It really just doesn't matter, regardless of the fact she shouldn't have licked the ice cream. I mean, I think the her getting 20 years would be a bit excessive, but like I said, I do feel like she does. It shouldn't just be a slap on the wrist. It should be, you know, something like 200 hours of community service. Uh, she needs to be evaluated mentally, 30 to 60 days in jail, like or juvenile detention facility, whatever the case may be. And I know a lot of times I pride myself in protecting our own as a black person, but this is something that I can't protect you on. Like you are a nasty bitch. Like just honest. I don't care if you're underage or not. That was disgusting, and you just don't do stuff like that. I'm just floored. So transitioning from that to something that was a success for us for the weekend and for the week, we have Holly Bailey has been cast to play Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And I know for me personally, I do like when we do go back and put like a different spin and add diversity to these things. Like to me, it's just really cool. Like I know like going back, the Black Panther caused such a huge uproar. I remember Spanish people were saying, well, why isn't there like a Spanish Spanish Panther, or why isn't there a White Panther or whatever, Brown Panther? But you know, and then with the even Will Smith and just being the genie, you know, Robin Williams was a genie. It wasn't live action. He did such a hell of a job. But even just to see, you know, some representation of us in these movies really does mean a lot because, you know, we go on for years. I mean, I think we grew up in the golden era for like cartoons and Disney movies and things like that. And a lot of the characters were white until, you know, The Princess and the Frog, where we finally got, you know, to see a black princess. And I think that really did mean a lot. And I do like the fact that they are going in this direction with The Little Mermaid. And I don't know who's Ursula yet. Um, you know, I heard rumors of this and that, but regardless, with her being black, I think that's a good thing. It's a good look. What I don't like, and what we'll get into, is now the hate groups have come out, and you know now they're just being angry about this one character, and it's not like she's even a dark skinned girl. She's light skinned. I'm not sure of her total background, but I'm sure that she's mixed somewhere down the line. I mean, look at her hair. I don't understand why people make such a big deal out of things like this. Like, if you're black, you can't have anything, like at all. Like, what in the
No,
world? And then to go forward and then say, okay, well, because of her melanin, she wouldn't be able to be that dark and be underwater and blah blah blah. Bruh, I've never even seen a mermaid before. How did we become, you know, everybody's an oceanographist or whatever, it studied oceanography, and
it's
then
because they're not real.
oh yeah, and then somebody they proved the point again. They pulled up the cartoon series on Disney from '92, and there was a black mermaid by the name of Gabrielle on there, And so we've had black mermaids before. But anyway, I got a little long winded there. What are your thoughts on that, Marcus?
I don't understand it. Like I if I would have heard like they were making a remake to the Little Mermaid, like a live action, I don't think I would have saw it. Like I know they made a live action remake of the Jungle Book. I saw that, which was really good. They did a remake live action of Aladdin. I saw that.
Beauty and the Beast too.
I didn't see that one. I didn't see Beauty. I heard it was actually good, but I didn't see it. So I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I'm not I'm not the core audience here, and I mean I don't know if my kids are because we haven't seen any like Disney movies with them because they're still too young to like go to theaters and stuff like that. So I mean I'm not the core audience here. If they said that hey we're doing a live action Little Mermaid, but she's gonna be white, I don't think I would have cared honestly.
Yeah.
But the fact that she is black and the fact that it is making people this upset, I am going to see this movie now. I'm for
Yeah.
sure gonna I'm for sure gonna support this movie now since I see it's making people mad because a fictional character happens to be black now. And it's just like, why are y'all so mad? It's
I
a
don't
fictional
understand.
character.
Did you see Passions of the Christ?
Yes.
Okay, that whole movie, there was one maybe black person
We
and
can
just
do
one.
this. We can do this
In
real
the
quick.
whole movie, it was one, and
We
he
can do
happened to be a
this.
demon.
We can do this. Yeah, we can do this. Because here's the thing: like the Little Mermaid, that character, her color, her race, her ethnicity doesn't change anything about the story. Like it literally doesn't matter because where are they? They're in the ocean somewhere. Like it doesn't really matter what her race is. So for specifically white people to be so upset about this when for decades they've had every Disney princess look like them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, is it's annoying and it's the same old stuff that they continue to do. But let's look at things that white people tend to not complain about. And that is when Hollywood decides to cast a white person as someone who is a person of color. We can look at movies like The Last Airbender. That's a movie based off of an Asian cartoon series. The entire main cast was white.
Oh yeah.
Tonto and the Lone Ranger. Tonto is Native American. Johnny Depp played him. What else? The fucking the ancient one from Doctor Strange. She is an Asian woman. Hollywood casted a white woman to play her. The Prince
Oh.
of Persia is an African.
Oh.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Ghost in the Shell. A Japanese woman or a Chinese woman, an Asian woman. Who does Hollywood sign up for it? Scarlett Johansson.
Mm.
Let's the great okay. There's a movie called The Great Wall. When we talk about Great
Oh.
Walls, we think about China. And when you think about China, you think about Chinese people. And what did Hollywood do? They decided to cast Matt Damon as the lead character in that movie.
Well, I thought it was Tom Cruise. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of another movie.
No. That's the other one. That's The Last Samurai.
Oh
So
yeah. Okay. Okay. I got
yeah, yeah. And then there's and like you said, every movie that has been based in Africa or Egypt, Hollywood has casted nothing but white people. And here's the most egregious one. There was a movie about well, there's a story, a real. This is based on events, based on real people's lives and experiences. It's a story about a group of Asian kids that went to Vegas and did the whole counting cards, money, yeah, counting cards and beating the system out in Vegas. So when Hollywood paid for the rights to that movie and adaptation, they cast all the main characters as white people, and that's based off of a true story of Asian people. Like that's real life. And they decided, nope, white people. Let's get some white faces in there. And we're not. And this is ignoring the history of blackface in Hollywood,
Oh yeah.
or yellowface, or brownface, where they have white people playing Asians and Middle Eastern people and black people. Like, there's a lot. There's a lot. And y'all want to complain about this? You know, they want to complain about, well, why is the entire cast of Black Panther black people? Where are the white people? Where's my representation? Do you know how many MCU movies came out before Black Panther? And do you know how many of them had a black person as a lead? Do you know how many of them had a woman as a lead? A major, like, what? Like 70% of the MCU are white males named Chris.
Mm-hmm.
But you need more representation? They made like 15 movies before they made Black Panther. Get over yourself. The Little Mermaid's not real.
It's not.
She's not real.
And I just
She's a fake
and I'm
character.
glad that you were able to sit down and go through all the different movies and television series or anything out there that they have had, that they have just completely changed it to fit whatever they want to do, and no one bats an eye. No one says a word, and then they come out with, okay, we're going to have a white person play Black Panther. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Okay, whatever, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, with some of it, like, I know somebody like penciled her in like super dark skin, super big lips, stuff like that, which looks nothing like the actual girl. And all I could do was laugh. It reminded me of the Nigger Panther movie.
Yes, it did.
Like, I saw it and I just started laughing. Like, I'm like, okay, this is just so out of control. All I could do was laugh. And I
did think of that too.
Yeah, I'll never understand why they just won't let us have anything. But, it is what it is. I guess.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like this wouldn't have been a big deal had people not been so mad, where it's just like, oh, hashtag not my Ariel. Like, it's so dumb. Like, it costs you nothing to let a minority have some sort of representation when it comes to these movies. Like, especially, like, I know it's not the end all be all, but it does matter that little black girls can go to a movie with a Disney princess and see someone that looks like them. It means something. It boosts their confidence. It gives them, a little bit more courage or whatever. It does something for them. And I get it. And if you're a parent that has a white daughter and you're like, well, what about my kid? Why don't you go through the 100 years of Disney movies and, thousands of years of history, and I'm sure you'll be able to find one white character that your daughter can look up to. And like, we can, how many black princesses are there? There's an Ariel, that's one. Technically, Shuri counts as one, technically.
Yeah.
What's that? I don't know the girl's
name.
Tiana,
I think.
From The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah,
but she was a frog like 90% of the movie. So I mean, there's that. There's Brandy from Cinderella. So what?
That didn't even come out in theaters. Like, that was a TV special.
Yeah. So okay. So black girls have 4 princesses, and white girls have every other one. Except Mulan.
Jasmine and Mulan, yep.
And actually Moana. That's 2, because I've seen Moana. So
yeah.
There are 4 black princesses. There's 1 Asian one. There's 1 Hawaiian one. The other hundreds of them are white.
Can't forget about Jasmine.
And Jet. Yeah. Okay. So how about this? Less than 10 Disney princesses are people of color. The other hundreds are white women.
And
I feel like your daughter will be fine.
She will be. And this is my thing with it. Let's not act like Disney's not looking into turning a profit. They know black women are going to show up and show out for that movie. I'm pretty sure they'll have costumes on. The little girls be dressed like little mermaids, different stuff like that. And they're going to turn out in droves to go see it, because that's what we do. If it's something like, remember, even with Black Panther, if it's something that's us, we're gonna support it. That we're gonna purposely try to break records doing this, so they know what they're doing too.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did it on purpose. If they were just like, you know what, we're gonna cast a black person. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rile up the fan base, and we're gonna get this thing popping. Like I wouldn't even be shocked by that. But and like I said, there are certain characters in like TV shows and movies where the person's race actually matters. Like I watched Scandal. Olivia Pope, you can't make that character any other race besides black because there were certain storylines that wouldn't have worked or wouldn't have made sense if she was anything other than black. The same can be said with like a character like Shaft, because I remember that went around for a while when uh, some person of color got cast for something and white people got upset and they were like, well, what if we casted a white man as Shaft? And it's like, if you clearly don't know anything about Shaft, like the history of Shaft is him fighting the man. You can't do that and be white. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how that works. And it can go the opposite way. If you look at someone like Edward Norton from American History X, it matters that he is white. He needs to be white in that movie for that movie to work. There's a lot of other characters where the race doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their race is. It doesn't affect the story. It doesn't affect who they are or what they do. Like a good example, James Bond. Like a lot of people want Idris Elba to be James Bond, and he honestly, in my opinion, if Idris Elba was to sign up to play James Bond, he would be the best actor to ever do it. Like out of all the James Bonds that have signed up to do it, he'd probably be top two. But if you watch any of the James Bond movies, him being white doesn't play that big of a factor into any of the things that he does. Like he can be black and still do all those things.
Oh
So
yeah.
so I don't get the whole well James Bond has to be white. Well, James Bond is a British secret agent. They've had a Scotsman play him. Like
Mm-hmm.
don't tell me that they need to stay true to the character when they've had someone that wasn't British play him. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point Hollywood has got to realize that there's more than obviously they're the majority, but there's more than just white people going to see movies and watching TV.
Definitely.
There's money being left on the table.
So speaking of money left on the table, secret agents,
Mm,
Kawhi Leonard
talk about it.
ended up with the Clippers, shocked the basketball world. I don't know if if you're more of a first take guy or undisputed or first impression.
I'm neither of those guys.
Oh, you don't watch any of them?
Neither. No.
Everybody was predicting. Like I remember Chris Broussard said it's a 1% chance that he goes to the Clippers, 90% to the Lakers, and the other to Toronto. And I mean, of course, we're not going to go too deep into the whole landscape, but boy, was I shocked that this happened. And it happened in the middle of the night, like a thief in the night. What are your thoughts on Kawhi to the Clippers?
I
And
honestly,
PG?
I thought, yeah, just that's a throw in. Like, and Paul George is going also. Like, I thought that Kawhi was going to stay in Toronto. I thought he was going to do like a 2-year deal, get to 10 years so he could like really max out on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not a precedent for someone winning the Finals MVP and then leaving to play for another team the next season. That's never happened before. So I was pretty shocked, and like you said, I went to bed that night, and then when I woke up, they said Kawhi Leonard is a Clipper, and then I scrolled down Instagram some more, and they were like, and Paul George is there. I'm like, wait, what? How
Oh
is
yeah.
he like? What is he? He's not a free agent. How did he end up in LA? And like apparently Kawhi made a call, like he was going from like he went to the Clippers and Lakers and all these teams. He was just like, yo, I want to play with Paul George, who can make this happen. And the Clippers were able to make it happen. And it's wild because I didn't know Kawhi and Paul George had any type of relationship or anything.
Mm.
But like anybody, I don't know anything about Kawhi Leonard. Nobody knows anything about this dude. You know, like
Yeah.
no one knew nothing. His inner circle is so tight that nothing is leaking out. Like with the Lakers, well, I'm not going to go there, but the Clippers or Kawhi Leonard himself, because his circle is so tight, like no information was able to get out to the media, to the public. Like Chris Broussard and Chris Carter and all these other people, they're just speculating, but no one really knew what this guy was thinking.
At
Nobody.
all. When
And
I when I got the message, it was like maybe I woke up at like maybe 4 or 5 in the morning to get my water. So I get my water, I go back, and I was like, okay, well, let me try to fall asleep again, and I'm gonna just pick my phone, I'm gonna roll over, I'm gonna look and see, and one of my homeboys had texted me, and he was like, "Yeah, Kawhi is a Clipper, and so is PG." Or something like that. And I was like, what PG? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? PG? Whatever. And I was like, okay, this dude obviously probably went on Twitter. Uh, the plethora of fake pages that are out there. Like there's like a fake Woj page, and there's all kind of fake stuff. So I was like, okay, he fell for a trap. I'm just gonna roll over, go back to sleep. I wake up 7 a.m. and like I look at my Bleacher Report and I seen it, and I'm like, how in the hell did this happen? Like I was so floored because I just knew from what everybody else was saying there was no way that he would go to the Clippers. I actually thought that he would go to the Lakers potentially. Um, then the reason why I thought that is because it was taking way too long, and when he left Toronto, I was like, okay, well, he went there. Drake pitched him the, oh yeah, you could be in on OVO and all that stuff, and then he just left. Boom, deuces. And I was just so stunned. And then like later on in the day, once again, I'm at work, I'm checking Bleacher Report, and I actually see that Toronto, because I felt bad for him, could have kept him because they had a deal in place to trade Siakam to OKC for Russ and
yeah,
PG, and then
I
they
saw
would have
that.
kept him. And I was like, wow, man, that's freaking crazy. So now, I mean, I feel bad for Toronto because you leave with nothing, but good.
I mean, they're the reigning champions. They'll be
Yeah,
all right.
they will. But dang,
Well, and I will say, like the longer it took, that's when I started to kind of, I guess, speculate. Like, all right, well, he's probably leaving Toronto at this point. Like, he's already made all his rounds, and it's kind of taken a long time. Like, normally, if you're just gonna re-sign with the team, you kind of make that announcement pretty quickly. Like, you just kind of, I'm staying. But once it started taking, like, once it got past July 4th, that's when I was just like, all right, well, he's probably leaving, and I had no idea where he was going to go. Uh, I think it's good for the NBA, and it kind of goes to my point about not rewarding like bad teams, not rewarding bad front offices or mediocre leadership or bad owners, like because we remember what the Clippers were before with Donald Sterling
oh yeah,
and how he was as an owner. And because he got caught up, because his mistress released that tape of him talking about Magic Johnson, like he lost his team, and an owner with deeper pockets that kind of stays out of the way, doesn't like get into the whole basketball side of things. He was able to get in there. He got an actual GM like Jerry West, like I don't Jerry West isn't the GM, but he is a part of their front office, and
hmm
Jerry West is part of that Lakers foundation with like Kobe, Powell, and Shaq. He was part of the foundation in Golden State with Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So they hired him, probably one of the all-time great front office people. They already had Doc Rivers in place. They had the cap space. They have a good, solid team. Like they deserved to get Kawhi Leonard. They did everything the right way, and they deserved Kawhi. Like they. I'm not gonna say they deserved him. They earned him. They did everything they had to do to get him, and that's from the top to the bottom, from the ownership, front office, coach, players, money, location, fan base, everything that you could want. The Clippers have it. And the Clippers are going to be they're going to be tough defensively.
Oh
Like
boy.
if you're a point guard like Steph Curry's gonna have nightmares against this team, honestly. Like first you got Patrick Beverly on you, and then you try to do like a pick and roll and they switch and now you got Paul George on you. You
Mhm.
try to do another pick and roll, you end up with Kawhi on you. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do? How do you score on that team? How? I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a great season, but I'm kind of one of those. I say that every year, and I mean, there's a lot of people talking about, oh, well, there's balance in the league, and the league is back, and we don't know. Like those people will be back in the playoffs. Like they're not watching the regular season, so we'll see you in playoff time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So definitely. So on that, I have nothing else to say about the Kawhi thing. We'll definitely dive deeper into the NBA free agency on a separate show. So we're just going to sum it up today with the music minute with Marcus. So the floor is
All right, so Revenge of the Dreamers came out this past weekend, this past Friday. I've listened to it maybe I think 3 times. I'm not gonna really like give a full on review of it because I mean I'm not gonna be that person that's like, oh well, is it a classic? Is it trash? Is it what? Like it's been out for 2 days. Like I'm a chill. Uh, I think for albums like this, like collaborative albums, like record label type albums, I think the main goal is for the casual fan or the someone that's not a fan of a lot of these people or who may not know these people, is to try to change their minds on people. So I would ask the people that have listened to this album, like, who is an artist on this album that you heard them for maybe the first or second time, and you're just like, you know what, that person is better than I thought they were, or the opposite, where you think, you know what, that person's not as good as I thought they were. They kind of got out rapped, they got outshined, they got outclassed, or the opposite, they stepped up, they really put their best bars forward. For me, I think I think the person that I changed my opinion on the most off of 2.5 3 listens is Earth Gang. I know Sierra talked about him. She kind of bigged them up big for me, and she told me to listen to their albums, and I went back and I listened to one of them, and I thought it was fine. But hearing them on this album, I thought they really stepped it up and did a better job. Um, Someone whose uh, I guess opinion of them didn't change is Bass. I don't think he's that great of a rapper. I think he's just kind of there. It's kind of boring, and even after listening to this album, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, yeah, this guy, he's just not good enough to be on these records with some of these people. Like, he just didn't step it up. Like, there's a certain level that you have to get up to. Like, J. Cole gets to that level, JID gets to that level, Earth Gang gets to that level, Ari Lennox gets to that level. Um, Bass just doesn't. I just don't feel like he really steps up to the plate. Um, a couple of observations that I did like is that there's no J. Cole produced beats. I was happy about that when I saw the track list. I'm like,
oh yeah.
yeah, I'm good on J. Cole doing beats. Like, we got to stop lying to ourselves. He's not our Kanye West. He's just an average producer on his best day. Uh, the best rapper on this album doesn't rap. It's Kendrick Lamar. He does like a vocal run on the very first song. I believe that there's because he wasn't listed on the track list. He's not listed on any of the features, but he is like an uncredited vocal. There's a reason why they didn't list his name on there because expectations, and he's the best rapper right now. So I can understand why they wouldn't put his name on there. I understand why they wouldn't put him on this album, because you don't want someone else from a different label to be the better rapper on your collaborative album. Uh, they did a lot of like pseudo press stuff, like with Instagram, saying like, "Hey, we reached out to so and so. They're coming through the studios. All these pictures. Here's who's coming through." And the two people that I saw in those pictures that are not listed on the album are Rhapsody and Big Crit. Um, I'm kind of pissed off that Big Crit didn't make it, but if I'm J. Cole, I don't want to have a better rapper on my own album, so I get that. Rhapsody, like, I know she's coming out with an album later this in August. I just wish she would just rap some more. Like I wish she would be out here more. I think being on a track with like, her, J. Cole, JID, something like that, where she can just really show off her lyrical ability. I think that'd have been a good move for her. But she didn't make the cut, I guess. But I think it's a fine album. It's fine. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed with the people that have been left off of it.
All right. Well, that sounds like it is time for us to wrap it up. Of course, we always want to thank you guys for tuning in. No final thoughts from me. Just be careful where you stick your tongue at, especially when it comes to groceries. And that's pretty much all for me. What about yourself?
No, I have lost some followers for my Michael Jackson tweets, but I stand by them. So I don't care. Like,
it don't matter to me. That song is so terrible, by the way. Oh,
there are times when, like, I'll get some new followers, and then I'll, every now and again I'll tweet something about Michael Jackson, and then those numbers start to go down. This isn't a joke, people. Like, I stand by those tweets. I don't care if everybody unfollows me. I stand by those tweets, and I will die on those hills. So, open your eyes.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, we're Committee Podcast. Shout out to South Breeze 706. My man had to do church duty today. Praise God. And El Chapa is on vacation this week, so we'll have her back next week. Shout out to DBNR. If I said it wrong, I apologize. We're Committee Podcast, and we are out.